Big news today in the world of MMA. Khamzat Chimaev fires back hard at Ikram Aliskerov after a heated callout. A UFC fighter gets attacked on the street for not speaking French, and Ciryl Gane reacts to Alex Pereira's potential move to heavyweight. Plus, Brendan Schaub sets a brutal standard for Tom Aspinall ahead of his title fight. Let's get right into it. Back in 2019, Khamzat Chimaev made a name for himself by knocking out Ikram Aliskerov in dominant fashion. Fast forward to today, and that rivalry just sparked back up. In a recent interview, Aliskerov, the Dagestani standout, said he'd love to run it back and that he'd even take the fight on short notice.
Пожалуйста, как тебе выступление Кhamzata Chimaeva в титульном поединке?
Прекрасно. Давнейшее выступление. Так он и всегда и делает, да, ничего нового там не было же.
Согласился ли бы ты выйти на реванш с Чимаевым на коротком уведомлении?
Конечно, если мне за пояс бой предложили бы, я вот за 2 дня вышел бы.
И чувствуешь себя настоящей силой вот победить вот такую машину, которую мы видели в последнем поединке?
Слушай, я тоже не со слабыми пацанами работаю, я готов бываю, я всегда тренируюсь, я всегда в хорошей форме бываю, поэтому если ты спортсмен, у тебя чемпионские амбиции, тебе предлагают бой за пояс, как ты можешь сказать?
But that comment didn't sit well with Boers. Khamzat fired back on social media, writing, "Why do people give interviews to these idiots? When I say I'll fight someone from Dagestan, it's an ethnic problem. But when they say it, it's sport. Stop being hypocritical." That's classic Khamzat, direct, emotional, and unapologetic. This back and forth once again shows how much tension exists between Khamzat and certain Dagestani fighters. But that's not all. Khamzat wasn't done making headlines. He also had some words for Rainier de Ridder. Well, sorta. Apparently, Khamzat ended up arguing online with a fake account pretending to be Rainier de Ridder. After de Ridder's tough loss at UFC Vancouver, the fake account taunted Chimaev with photos captioned "Shut up, rat." Khamzat hit back with, "You better cry, baby, because you give up." The exchange quickly went viral, with fans realizing Khamzat was actually going at an impersonator. Meanwhile, over in France, heavyweight contender Ciryl Gane was asked about Alex Pereira possibly moving up to heavyweight. Pereira, the current light heavyweight champion, has been teasing the move for months, and Gane believes Poatan could absolutely hang with the big boys.
A lot of talk in the division about light heavyweight champion Alex Pereira moving up one day, seeking a third division championship. Do you believe Poatan will be a threat to the title if he chooses to move up?
Est-ce que tu penses que Poatan serait une menace pour la division?
Yes, of course. Yeah. Of course, he's a really huge striker. He's from kickboxing, and I know he can do very well. I saw he improve. I don't know how he said that. Not improve, but his weight is more and more bigger. So I think it's legit to go also on the heavyweight division. So yeah, it will be really crazy if I win this fight to fighting against.
Very interesting.
Gane said, "Of course, he's a huge striker from kickboxing. He's getting bigger and bigger. I think he's legit to go to heavyweight." And imagine this, if Gane wins his upcoming fight against Tom Aspinall, we could one day see Gane versus Pereira for a heavyweight title. That would be insane. Speaking of Tom Aspinall, former UFC fighter Brendan Schaub just made a bold prediction, or maybe a challenge. On his podcast, Schaub said that if Tom wants to truly prove he's on Jon Jones' level, he needs to finish Ciryl Gane in under 2 minutes.
Marker here is win. Of course, dude, you're heavily favored. No. Of course you got to win. You have to do it more impressively than Jon Jones did, because this is the only opponent you guys have in common that now the public can go, okay, well, they did fight this guy. Jon beat him in, I think, 2 minutes. Choked him out in 2 minutes. Tom not only has to, imagine this pressure, Tom not only has to beat Ciryl Gane, who's an absolute French nightmare, but he has to do it more convincingly than Jon Jones. He has to do it faster and more impressive. So whether it's a knockout right away or he takes him to the mat right away, you have to beat him in under 2 minutes and go. Unfortunately, that's what Tom's dealing with. It sucks.
Schaub said, "You're heavily favored, but you have to do it more impressively than Jon Jones did. Jon beat him in 2 minutes. You need to beat him faster, knockout or submission, under 2 minutes." Elsewhere in the MMA world, the verbal wars continue. John Gene Silva took another shot at Max Holloway, calling him out for a fight at the upcoming UFC White House event. Max wasn't having it, he clapped back by mocking Silva's recent knockout loss to Diego Lopez. Silva then fired back in the comments, saying, "Said the guy who almost died getting knocked out by Topuria and then fought for the BMF belt." It's classic fight world trash talk, and fans are eating it up. Meanwhile, there was a light-hearted moment coming out of Dagestan. Khabib Nurmagomedov playfully scolded his cousin, Usman Nurmagomedov, after Usman showed up with a coffee but didn't bring one for Khabib.
I have a question for him.
Yes.
Where's my coffee? Why you only think about yourself?
This is
Is he taking your coffee?
Real coffee.
Real coffee?
But he never bring coffee for me. What is this, coach? You think I don't deserve?
never say never.
Never say never?
One day you will be better.
You'll bring him coffee?
One day.
Habib, I'll bring
I
you
didn't
coffee.
find his car in outside. That's why I think he's not here.
Ah,
Car is outside.
No, where?
It's not your problem. Where, but outside.
outside.
Don't come inside. It's outside.
But not all news this week was lighthearted. Featherweight contender Yair Rodriguez has officially undergone hand surgery. Yair shared on Instagram that he'd resisted the operation for as long as possible, but the pain became too much to handle.
What's up, guys? I just got this sort of shit done. I'm still undergoing telephone anesthesia. So my body's kind of fluffy or weird.
Next up, Bo Nickal chimed in with his thoughts on Rainier de Ridder's recent loss to Brendan Allen. Speaking on the Ariel Helwani show, Bo said he believes de Ridder's poor conditioning might have been caused by a bad weight cut or even an illness.
Rough. I mean, the first 7.5 minutes, he looked like amazing, looked like, world, top level world championship caliber fighter. And, obviously I think after the first 7.5 minutes, went downhill a little bit with the conditioning. But I had heard a few things prior to the fight, maybe bad weight cut, maybe some illnesses. So, one fight doesn't really reflect how good you are as a person, as a fighter. And all that to be said, I'm sure he was disappointed in his performance. It wasn't his best performance. But yeah, I mean, overall, kind of a little bit of a lackluster fight. And but it happens. It's the way the game works. And, he's obviously has a big weight cut. He's fought a lot in the past year. So things happen that are, affect the result of the fight.
Nickal added, "One fight doesn't define how good you are." Michael Bisping also weighed in on the situation, but from a completely different angle. On his BYM podcast, Bisping praised de Ridder's coach for stopping the fight early.
People might look at de Ridder and say that he quit on the stool or whatever, or his coach quit for him. And yeah, it's not a good look when you're that big of a name, when you're the main event and you get tired. You shouldn't do that. However, he's going to learn the hard way. I actually have a lot of respect for his coach, because a lot of coaches, they won't do that. They want them to go out there. They don't. I say a lot of coaches. I shouldn't say a lot of coaches. Some coaches, it's more about them than what it is about the fighter. And I'm not giving any examples. A lot of people, they live vicariously through their fighters, and they want their name as a coach, their ego attached to it. And if they become the champion, I'm the guy that coaches all these guys. On this occasion, de Ridder's coach was like, you know what? Nah, you're done. All that's going to happen is you're going to get the shit kicked out of you for another 5 minutes. And who knows? Maybe you take finished, or maybe take a beating so bad you never mentally recover from it. So fair play to his coach there. Well done to Brendan Allen, man, because it was a tricky first round. I thought Brendan would lose that.
But perhaps the most shocking story of the week, British UFC featherweight Arnold Allen revealed that he was attacked on the street in Montreal for not speaking French.
Currently training for stuff, and I got beat up in the street because I wasn't using French. Got jumped because I didn't speak French. So that's what the bruises are all about. Don't worry about it. Anyway, on to the card. There's some really good fights.
Fortunately, he seems to be doing okay, but the incident sparked outrage and concern among fans. Many were shocked that a UFC fighter, a guy who makes a living fighting, could still get targeted like that while just walking around. The MMA community has since rallied around Allen, with fighters and fans sending support messages online. For now, Allen says he's focused on recovery and getting back to training as soon as possible. And that's going to wrap things up for today, guys. From Khamzat firing back at Ikram Aliskerov, to Arnold Allen's shocking street attack and everything in between, it's been a wild week in MMA. If you enjoyed the update, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest fight news. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.